That was really the only run they scored, Bryant. You know what I'm talking
Sure
about?
was.
You know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Shohei Ohtani hit a 500-foot home run. It was the only run the Los Angeles Angels scored in that game. They couldn't muster up another run when one of their players hit a 500-foot home run.
Wow.
Truly unbelievable.
Shohei.
That's Shohei. What a guy.
What a guy.
That was an unbelievable hit, though. Unbelievable. I mean, it was played ad nauseum the next day during their next game, which they also lost, by the way. Playing the Diamondbacks, best team in the NL West, so
good
understandable.
Team, D-backs.
Real good team, man. I watched a lot of baseball this weekend, and I'm going to tell you what, right now, I'm probably going to talk a lot about baseball today, too. Probably not the most popular sport going right now. People like basketball more, but guess what, Bryant? They're not playing basketball right now.
It's America's pastime.
And baseball's America's pastime. An excellent point by you.
And
well said.
tomorrow is America's Day.
It is, so I feel like we have to play baseball. And we're getting day baseball on a Monday. And we never get day baseball on a Monday.
Games on
Two
a Monday.
baseball. So here's what I got for you. We didn't even talk about what we're going to do today before the show, so I guess I'll do it now with you live here on the air.
I was just saying hey to either one anyway.
I thought someone was walking through the door. You were waving. I wasn't sure.
You said you didn't tell me before, so it's just like we're
Well, we were talking, but we didn't talk about what we were going to talk about. I watched a lot of baseball this weekend. I want to talk a lot about baseball.
Cool.
There was some NBA free agency that happened over the weekend, quite a bit actually. Dylan Brooks getting $80 million for 4 years from the Rockets to join Fred VanVleet and that crew they got going down there.
That could be fun.
And then Derrick Rose is signing with the Grizzlies. I would imagine that story is being talked about a lot in local radio today.
Big story.
But who gives a crap, truly? I mean, it's just a stupid – the fact that they're going to – more credence to that, I don't know. If they're going to mention Kyrie signing with them, I don't know. I just think it's a dumb story. Are you excited about Derrick Rose coming back to the Grizzlies?
I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, who cares?
All my friends were super excited.
Oh, Derrick Rose! I know him!
Oh, wait.
I know him!
Wait.
I've seen him! I've seen him play before.
Yeah, but
he's an MVP.
And then when I
who cares,
responded back to all of them and said, I don't really know if this is a great move for the actual team.
It's just a non-move. It's a PR move.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he can contribute a little bit. Like, I liked him for the Knicks the past couple of years. Really is still having trouble staying healthy, quite frankly.
But
and when he is healthy, his game is so much different than it used to be. And he's an older guy now too, so you don't expect a lot from him. But total PR move. I mean, who cares?
Well, and then going up to free agency for the past 3 weeks, even before the draft, everyone has been talking about you're gonna have one roster spot. You got to go get a small forward. You got to get Dillon's replacement, and then the move is Derrick Rose.
Well, that's not a move, man. Again, I think it's just a PR stunt. That can't be the move they're going to go through. They didn't even announce what money he's making.
That's true.
Okay, it's a veteran minimum. It's probably 1 year. It just doesn't.
That's a good point.
It just doesn't matter.
I'm curious to see. I mean,
maybe he's retiring for all we know. He could be assigned to retire.
That's
who
true.
cares, man?
I'm curious to see about this Dylan Brooks thing because it looked like it was a sign-in. It was first being reported as a sign-in trade.
Oh, is that not what it was?
I don't know. They haven't said what anybody's getting from the sign-in
there was
trade.
another trade like that where no one announced, but it wasn't as big as an $80 million 4-year contract.
Yeah.
But there was another trade like that took place where it still hasn't been announced.
Right.
Oh, you know what it might have been? It might have been who just got traded to the Thunder?
Old boy for the Heat.
Oh, Gabe
Victor.
Vincent. No, Victor Oladipo. That's right.
Vincent went to the Lakers.
Yeah, signed to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then Max Strus went to
That's what I was thinking. Max Strus.
Milwaukee or something. He went up north
like
somewhere.
He went somewhere. Detroit.
Was it Detroit?
I don't know if that's right either.
You watched a lot of baseball.
Are we reporting news here?
No.
I don't know.
Far
Point
from
is,
it,
we can
actually.
talk about that later, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Draymond going back to the Warriors, great for him.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I not a shocker. I don't think. I think some people thought he might go somewhere else, but I mean, why would you leave Golden State, especially if they're going to pay the
and
money?
Dame requested a trade out of Portland.
That's crazy. Even though
honestly,
it's been a thing for
here's the thing.
4 weeks.
What are we going to talk about with this? With all these signings. Now, if a guy goes to the Grizzlies, if we get a new addition, that's
big.
something to talk
That's
about.
significant.
Maybe even Desmond Bain re-signed on Friday, though, right?
Yeah.
Was that first? So you guys already talked about that.
No, that was after we were done.
Oh, after
that was
you were done.
That was
at
Friday
night.
Yeah.
Okay, so Desmond Bain re-signs
It
with
was
the Grizzlies.
late, too, because I don't think I saw it until the next morning.
He was already a Grizzly. We assumed he was going to be a Grizzly. I got nothing to say there either. Love Desmond Bain. Could be the best two-guard in the league at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But, what am I going to say about this? Dame requested trade. Make it Chris Paul. What would somebody say if Chris Paul requested a trade?
this guy stinks.
Yeah.
He'll never win a championship.
Not going to win a championship.
Right.
Wherever he goes, they're not going to win.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
So it's just a vessel to say whatever bull crap you already believe. Like, that's what all this offseason talk is.
That's true.
So that's why I don't really give it much credence. Like, if you want me to sit here and tell you where everybody went and the money they're making, I could do that.
Sure.
Little sports update. We'll do it for an hour.
Sports update.
We'll do it for an hour.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where everybody went. I'll get all the information in front of me, where they went, how much money they're making, how many years they're going to be there. I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just want to hear my cockamamie opinions about these guys that I've held for years and am refusing to change, or anybody else that talks on the radio has held for years and is going to be refusal to change them, that's what this is going to be. So I think NBA free agency talk, quite frankly, for the most part, is stupid.
So Greg Gaston just texted me. It's going to be Rose 2 years.
2 years.
For 6.5. And then reportedly we're going to get Josh Christopher in the sign and trade deal with Dylan Brooks, which I've seen a lot of that, but I haven't seen anybody like Woj or Shams report it yet. So kind of still waiting on the Josh Christopher.
Excellent.
Good
deal. You got any opinions about Josh Christopher? I know one thing. Wherever he goes, he's going to win a championship. He can't get it done.
I don't know much.
Couldn't do it at Wake. I don't know where Josh Christopher went to school. But couldn't do it at Wake. Can't do it in the league.
I don't know if he went to.
He probably did. And it was a Chris Paul reference.
Yeah, no. But I don't know much about Josh Christopher. You wouldn't let me watch Rockets games for a majority of last year, so not too familiar with his game.
That's the concern about Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks going to play there, is that culture and the players that they have, any returners that they have, are doomed. Quite frankly.
But
any returning players they have are doomed.
What do you mean?
In their NBA careers, because that is not a good entry into the league.
He went to Arizona State, Josh Christopher did.
It cannot be. I'm telling you right now, I know for a fact it is a terrible way to enter the league where that is the mindset that you were given of what professional basketball is like.
Right.
Where you're not playing any defense, legitimately. I mean, not playing any defense, and you're only concerned about offensive stats because their entire philosophy is this will make you more money in the long run. We're going to develop these players. We don't have any credence to winning. The players would tell you in post-game press conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they didn't say it as bluntly, but if you go back and watch any of those, they're going to talk about we didn't care to win this game. We're not caring about this season. We're just trying to play good basketball every game. And that mindset actually equated to not good basketball every game. Whereas, like, there's different ways to be a bad team.
Sure.
The Detroit Pistons 2 years ago were a terrible basketball team that would press you down 20 the last 4 minutes of a game.
I remember
because
you always bet on the Pistons that year because you were like, they're bad, the spreads are going to be massive, and they're going to cover them. They're not going to win any of these games, but they'll cover these spreads.
That's a team that is concerned about getting better every game because they're playing starters in games that are lost the last 4 minutes because it is not about winning or losing right now. It's actually about getting better. The Rockets, when they say that in a post-game press conference, what you're seeing on the floor doesn't equate to what they're saying.
Right.
And if they're saying that they don't care about winning or losing the game, it's all about getting better, you're not getting any better in that game. So essentially, you just don't care about winning.
Right.
You just care about getting offensive stats and scoring.
What was it, I guess, last week?
So I think the addition of Fred VanVleet, with any returners they have, that roster, those players, wherever they go, they're doomed.
Well,
man.
I mean, you don't think
as good as they are.
You don't think Ime Udoka can come in and kind of change?
That's what's
the
insane.
philosophy?
We just give Ime Udoka all this credit for no reason. But talk about how bad a coach Missoula is because he inherited a team. Ime Udoka inherited a team.
That's true.
Brad Stevens was such a good coach. Yeah. He was able to move up to general manager. They don't do that for coaches unless you were great at your job.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's the only place ever coached in the NBA.
Yeah.
They're building a culture. And so you could put any coach in there essentially.
Yeah.
Ime Udoka, all these guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I forgot who I was talking to last week, or I may have heard this on TV or something, that the Rockets, the last 3 years, have had 9 first-round draft picks or something, or there's 9 first-round draft picks playing on their team right now. And so, like,
and they're great players, man.
But you talk about
like Christian Wood, for instance.
They don't care to win. They're trying to load up on these top prospects, and
they're doomed. Yeah. They're doomed. They can't contribute in a significant way to winning.
Because
think about how
I
much
liked watching that team play last year. They're fun.
Remember 2 years ago when he was still on the Rockets, how much we touted Christian Wood?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, this guy's good. I mean, you would hear Joe Schmo on the radio that really doesn't watch the NBA.
Right.
The one player they would talk about on the Rockets is Christian Wood. He goes to the Mavericks. Man.
On the court.
Hey, Christian Wood, he still goes to this guy's going to be good. I'm going to see him for Rockets. Great addition. Can't even get on the floor. Can't even get on the floor because he can't guard.
Yeah.
Because he's never been asked to guard.
Doesn't play defense.
And it's certainly not a skill set he develops his first year in the league, which is already a limitation of all rookies.
Yes.
Unless that's their thing.
Yeah, a couple come in.
If their thing is defense, they can be good defenders for sure. They're still going to struggle a lot, but those are the guys that can be probably by the turn of the calendar year. You might see them start to play a lot better defense if that's their thing.
Sure.
Otherwise, they're already going to struggle.
Yeah.
And so then you couple that with a franchise that doesn't care about defense, I think those guys are doomed. And it's a shame to see a guy like Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, quite frankly, go there because Fred VanVleet was getting buckets last year. He was, a lot of ways, the horse. I love Siakam. I think Siakam can do everything. But Fred VanVleet, I would be remiss if I didn't say he was the horse of that team for at least half of the games where he's scoring at will.
Which is kind of crazy because you think about all the players that really or either were touted as these are really good players, which they are in Toronto, or OG Anunoby, which every team wanted at the trade deadline, and it was
no one's ever seen. Everybody wants.
OG
started with the Celtics. He was drafted by.
Yeah.
But he's a good player.
He's a good player.
And Siakam's I think the best argument you can make on that front is that they had Siakam and this guy was their horse. Because Siakam can do everything. They have a ton of guys.
And who's the young guy? Scotty
Barnes.
Scotty Barnes. I like Scotty Barnes.
Another good player. Defense is his deal.
Sure
That's his thing. But anyway, so Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks go there to the Rockets, and it really is a shame because I just think that franchise, at least in what I've seen at this point, it's doomed. Yeah. Unless you're going to completely turn over the roster, that takes time, man.
You're not going to be able to do that.
That just takes time.
I don't think they're going to want to completely turn over the
roster. As far as I know, the front office is exactly the same, and that is the culture that they have bred to this point. It's not to say Ime Udoka isn't a good coach. I think he is a good coach. I don't mean to say that Ime Udoka is a bad coach when I prop up Joe Mazzulla. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think Joe Mazzulla is a good coach. Yeah. And for some reason, the consensus is that he's bad, which is totally unwarranted. It's just like an opinion that everyone simultaneously that does sports talk decided to have. But nobody in the basketball world thinks he's bad. It's just a sports talk opinion that came out of nowhere. And everyone's like, oh yes, he's very bad. Yes, we all agree. Yes.
Well,
it's insane. But anyway, my point, I don't mean to get off on Missoula again. Right. It's that I think Ime Udoka is a good coach.
Sure.
But how much can you create your idea of the culture when this culture has already been set above you and below you? How much of a difference? So basically it's Udoka, Dylan Brooks, and Fred VanVleet are going to turn around a culture that exists with how many other players? Eight other players that have been there.
Yeah.
And then your front office. I'm very.
That's tough.
I wish he would have gone to another team.
I just wonder if. It's a terrible idea to do.
But he's also making too much money, Dylan Brooks is, to go to another team.
If
the Rockets are willing to pay him this. Yeah. But he was going to get more money than the Grizzlies could have offered him. But I'm not sure he would have gotten $80 million anywhere else. Yeah. But he would have been paid real good money. Yes. I've heard people talk. I'm not an insider. I don't have I'm not calling front offices.
But you see the reports.
Well, and I know people in the NBA that know that he would have been offered. He was offered quite a bit of money from other teams, but they knew from the jump he was going to get this money from the Rockets, and so that's why there wasn't more of a bidding war involved in this. Well, we can't compete with that. He's going to the Rockets.
And you saw the reports. He was supposed to meet with the Lakers. He was supposed to meet with maybe the Knicks.
Another consensus that is held in sports media and fan base too, I guess. But that's all a microcosm of what sports media is. It's just a bunch of fans that get to talk into microphones. That's also a consensus opinion that's held is, yes, we must move on from Dylan. He was talking to LeBron. He was mocking him. He was egging him on, and when he poked that bear, lost in the series. And he's taking shots that I don't like.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't like those shots.
Stop shooting the ball, Dylan.
Now Taylor Jenkins, and he's not pulling him fast enough. Coach, you got to pull him faster. He's taking those bad shots. Those guys, they don't have a good gauge of what they're doing. That's another consensus opinion held that I think is also just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks is a highly touted player,
Good player.
but the Grizzlies also couldn't pay him that money either.
No, they just couldn't. I mean, when you're paying,
But
that's
that's such a cop out for people that were talking crap about
Sure.
Dylan Brooks to say now is that, well, I knew they couldn't pay him that money. No, you and yourself wouldn't have paid him a cent
right.
because you don't think he's
You
valuable,
didn't think he was good.
and that's
Right.
crazy. I didn't want to talk about basketball
I was
here
just
at all.
about to say, there's no way you want to talk about baseball this long or basketball.
Not
this
at all.
long.
I want to talk about baseball the whole
Yeah.
time. Well, I have notes, Bryant.
Please.
I'll just do baseball now. Why not?
Why not?
So I got 2 things. I got my weekend notes. Ooh, I got to add a couple notes here. And then I have. We're going to talk about our bets later too. I want to make.
Love talking out your bets.
I want to make bets. I was a gambling fiend, man,
That
at the sports
Vegas
book.
heat was getting.
I was
to
just
you.
in Las Vegas, Bryant. Did you know
were.
that?
I did. Mm-hmm. I did.
And on Saturday, well, I was indoors the whole day, so it wasn't
True.
really the Vegas heat. But
Just the casinos.
Saturday, I spent 10 a.m. in the Caesar Sportsbook. I spent 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Good Lord.
Sat in the same spot. I got myself a little Bobby's burger, Bobby Flay burger.
Oh.
And I took it to the sports book, and I had my bets, and I didn't move the whole day. And my dinner, they delivered to me.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow. They said, this guy, we need to keep him in that seat.
That's right. It was great. It was good stuff.
So I've never been to Vegas. How do the sports books work? Is it
Is it
digital, or do you have to go up to the pay window?
You can do a kiosk if you like. I think you can buy Vegas apps and bet on Vegas apps, but you obviously can't use like the apps that you use here in Tennessee to bet.
Like DraftKings or FanDuel or stuff like that.
Every state has their own app.
Sure,
So if you look up BetMGM,
it's like
it will take you
BetMGM,
to the
right.
state that you're
I
in.
see. Because I made the mistake. I signed up for a sports book in like Louisiana on accident, and I can't access it here.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Well,
sure
that'll
did.
do it for you
Yeah.
then. So they might have their own thing, but what I would do is I was sitting in like the second row or whatever, and so I would just walk up to the whatever you call it, the desk, and place a bet with this bookie, or I don't know if you teller bookie.
Right.
I guess it's not a bookie; it's a teller because he's not making the.
It's like a person.
It's just a guy.
Yeah.
Or a lady. It was a lady,
Sure.
some too.
But it wasn't like I've seen like at some places they have like it's like it's like
they have
digital and
kiosks.
the kiosk, right? Okay.
And you could do that. But I just, I'm making friends with the people.
You're in
they're
Vegas,
also, maybe this is common knowledge. I don't know this. But those people, they're working damn near every day.
Sure.
They're watching all the games just like you were. So they have, and it's sports, like you could talk about what you're betting on with Joe random on the
Right.
street. You know what I mean? Ooh, I took that over. Oh, man, I had
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you both
Sure.
watched the game, you had bets on it. So I'm sure they're betting some too, but they're also. They have all the odds in front of them. People are making bets to them all day. They're watching these games all day. So they talk to you about what's
Yeah.
going on, too. You make friends with the bookies. You're talking about the games that
Very
are going
cool.
on. I'll go up there and bet a giant favorite, let's say. And there was a UFC Fight Night card. So,
yeah.
so they have the big UFC events. That's UFC like 280 or whatever. UFC 276. But then every other weekend, pretty much, they'll do UFC Fight Nights,
Fight
which
night.
are smaller events that are held at, in different places, wherever. But it's just smaller events. It's essentially minor league. There's not going to be a championship title fight.
Right.
It'll be like
These
people
are the up and coming
right,
guys
and
and
it's
girls.
essentially a minor league event,
Sure.
kind of. And so we were watching that, and I go place a big favorite. He goes, "Oh yeah, that guy's gonna kick his you know what? He's gonna kill him.
rear end.
He has no chance." So they make comments on what you bet on. You're making friends with the bookies. It was a real good time, and they give you free drink vouchers
of
and stuff like
course.
that. Because if you sit down at like a slot machine or at like a poker table, like playing blackjack,
Yeah.
there will be people coming around that will bring
Handing
you
you
drinks.
drinks, yeah.
You got to tip them. You should tip them or
Sure.
whatever, but they're free drinks as long as you're betting. And so you don't always get that in the sports book. So if I go to the kiosk, they're not giving me free drink
Right.
vouchers. But if I go to the person,
they'll give you
basically
a free
every time
drink
I tip
voucher.
them, they give me a drink voucher.
Heck
So I'm
yeah.
getting like, $2, $3, $4, $5
That's awesome.
drinks rather than whatever, $10, $12 drinks that they're charging you for like a domestic beer or something like
Yeah.
that. I forgot how I got on that. What was I?
Just talking about Vegas.
Oh, just talking about I was in Vegas,
Oh, you're
Brian.
in Vegas, yeah. And you're
Yeah.
making a lot of bets, and you're texting me
I
about all your
was.
bets.
I hope my parents aren't listening to this, but
Don't bet on the M's or against the M's.
that's one of my notes.
Oh yeah.
Be careful betting against the Mariners.
Ooh, I tell you what.
Seriously though,
Really?
because here's the thing: their pitching staff is excellent.
It's good.
They've
It's
got
really good.
one of the best pitching staffs in baseball.
Yeah.
Their problem, to this point in the season, has been their inability to hit.
Can't hit the ball.
But they have their lineup is a
they've
bunch
got
of
the guys,
guys
yeah.
that when you see their name, you think that's a guy's a good hitter. He's going to get in
Julio,
trouble.
You would not think Julio's batting 225 right now.
Cal Raleigh,
Cal
even.
Raleigh, big dumper.
Big dumper. And he's got one.
Jared Kelenic, he sure does. Jared Kelenic's been hitting the ball.
Oh,
Well,
he made a
has been
terrible
consistent.
error
Really?
on Saturday,
Ooh,
Friday.
I missed one of those games.
I can't remember. But the point is, they have a good lineup of hitters.
Yeah.
So then you know they got good pitchers.
Teoscar.
So if you're betting against them, like for instance, they played the Rays in this series this
France.
weekend. Ty France, great one. Teoscar Hernandez, Ty France, too good. Crawford.
JP
Crawford.
Yeah, sure.
Really good play.
Yeah.
Leadoff guy, right?
Suarez over at third. Yeah.
So they've got good hitters, and we already knew what's been consistent all year is they have a really good pitching staff, and they have names you recognize that you know are going to be good pitchers as well. And so if they just get hot at the plate, they can beat anybody. Case in point, they just beat the Rays in a series this weekend. The quote-unquote best team in baseball, certainly the best team in the American League, I think we would say. Right? Who else would it be? It would be the Rays, right?
The Rays. Well, and
the Mariners just beat them in that series.
And the one game they...
Rangers, maybe.
Maybe the Rangers, but
No.
probably say it's the Rays.
Uh-huh.
But in the one game they lost this weekend, they were leading until like the 8th inning, and then they gave up like 12 runs in the 8th inning and lost the game. So it was a good weekend for the Mariners. But you talk about the good pitching staff, and they just can't hit the ball. I think Luis Castillo, I can't remember the name. Luis Castillo is like 5-6 this year on the season, and I think all 6 of his losses have come in like 2-0 losses or something like that. Like games where he's pitched unbelievably,
He still pitched well.
but they cannot hit they can't get a run.
Yeah, and I would say that's the record starting to bear that out because he's like what 2-4, 2-5 or something like that. Castillo is.
Yeah, I mean he has a losing record right now.
But he has like a sub-3 ERA, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Tough, man.
I mean,
that's the business.
It is what it is.
So I bet is one of my notes, Brian. Be careful betting in the end against the Mariners.
Need to.
The Guardians, on the other hand, flat out hit, man. Dominated the Cubs this weekend. And the Cubs are back in action today, I believe, against the Brewers. Who the Brewers
Brew Crew
just beat up on the
day
Pirates.
games.
It is. The Brewers just beat up on the Pirates this weekend. I don't know about these Pirates, man. The Pirates are starting to fade a bit, but I like their hitting lineup. It's just the pitchers are who we thought they were at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mitch Keller today, I think.
Yeah, sure is. Which Mitch Keller's been good this year, but some of those other pitchers, Oviedo had like a good start to the season. But he's kind of coming back down to earth.
Best team in the NL Central, Brewers or Reds?
Reds.
I agree.
Reds.
Abbott can flat out pitch, man.
Oh.
That Abbott guy.
He's really
so
good.
Abbott's only made, 3 starts now? 4 starts?
Probably 4.
3 or 4, something like
Yeah.
that. Rookie, unbelievable.
I mean, he threw his first 3 or 4 starts. He didn't give up a single run.
Not one.
Yeah.
The first 2 for sure. He has been unbelievable. He is for real. The Reds lineup is for real. They have great hitters everywhere. It really is unbelievable.
Did you watch the Friday night game Friday afternoon game where they went to 12 innings?
Oh, it hit a walk?
Hit a
No.
walk-off.
The Pirates we're talking about.
No. I'm talking about the Reds.
Who did the Reds walk off against?
San Diego. The Padres.
I might have missed that.
On Friday, it was unbelievable. It went to 11, 12 innings. They at one point they had a guy on second or third. He comes home, misses. It was Ellie De La Cruz. He comes home. The catcher is standing on the plate and he tries to slide between his legs and his hand gets blocked by the catcher's foot, and so he's not safe, and they try to review it.
No, that was in the second, wasn't it?
No, that was late in the game. That was in the 11th inning.
No, that was sliding into second, though, wasn't it?
No. This happened at home, too. It might have happened at second as well, but this was late in the game, 10th or 11th inning. He's trying to go home and win the game. He slides in. They call him, or maybe it was to tie the game or something. They call him out. And because he jumps up, he thinks he's safe, and he's starting to walk to the dugout. And the catcher runs over and tags him, and they're like, "You're out." And so they go review it. They say one catcher's interference, he wasn't safe. And then I think next guy up walks up and hits a 2-run shot to win it.
How about it?
It was awesome.
I think Pirates had a walk-off this weekend, too. That's why I thought, because
did.
we were just talking about the Pirates,
Yeah,
I thought
but
it was
then
that
you
one,
brought
too.
up the Reds.
I did.
So I started talking about the Reds.
Pirates, I think, are still good, though. Reds are the best team in the NL.
Certainly.
Christian Yelich is back. He's good again, which is crazy. I do think the Brewers are good, but the Pirates, their just pitching isn't very good. But you got to think they have third baseman out. God bless it. Come on.
Cabrian Hayes.
Cabrian Hayes, thank you. They got giant dude, shortstop is out.
Yes. O'Neal.
Yeah, O'Neal Cruz. And they're still hitting great.
They still are.
They have not missed a beat hitting the baseball.
And McCutcheon's
been unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's not just been a signing that you can come retire here. He has been unbelievably consistent. He's been really good. I like their hitters, man. It's just they can't
I mean,
they can't keep runs off the board.
But that's almost seemed to be the story at the beginning of the season for the Pirates. Is like we kind of knew
They're the Cardinals
bats
with,
were going to be good.
The Cardinals with more consistent bats.
Yeah, kind of.
Really? But the Cardinals should have more consistent bats.
But at the start of the season, everyone was like, this pitching staff shouldn't be good, but they're good. Mm-hmm. And now they're, like you said, they're kind of coming back
to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
Great series this weekend, though. Back and forth.
Sure was.
That only game that didn't have a lot of runs was the walk-off game. Mm-hmm. The rest of them, they were scoring. Both teams. Yeah. They were down 12 to – no, maybe they were down 8 to 2, and they came back and scored 10 runs, and then it was 12-8. The Pirates were up. I think the Brewers came back and won that game, but nonetheless, a lot of runs scored. I got a few more baseball notes. We can do those on the other side, Bryant.
Sure.
But when we come back, we're also going to be talking on our bets.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on eating out, fuel costs, and replacing expensive grills that cannot stand up to the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
What we all say. I try to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation.
The Who.
The Who. Performed at the Super Bowl.
They did. How do you know that?
Because I watched it.
Oh, I don't know.
And I didn't know who they were.
You don't always have a great reference for those sorts of things, but you did there.
I said, who's the who? They go, the who? I go, no. That's what I'm asking is who's performing? And they're like,
Who?
The who?
That's a great joke.
And I was like, no. And so it was like a 15-minute thing where they were telling me who it was.
Never gets old.
Understand.
Should I finish my weekend notes
Please,
first, or should we do? You want a handicap?
No,
first?
let's finish the notes real quick because
Okay.
I'm hoping you have one note that I.
All right, so I
also
said be
have.
careful betting the Mariners.
Gotta be careful betting the M's.
And then I did my Reds note,
Sure did.
which was the addition I had, which is that Abbott is really good. He's for real. Everyone. Oh, I started with the show with this. Everyone is gaga over Ohtani.
Yeah,
but the
sure
Angels
are.
can't win a game.
Did you? Okay, so last week while you were gone, we got to the portion of All-Star betting where you
ASB.
could bet for
Brent
starters.
Rooker, All-Star, by the
Sure
way,
is.
awesome. Did you see
So
the
is
video?
Austin Riley, two Memphis area guys.
Did you see the video? Yeah, but Austin Riley's great. I mean, not to say Brent isn't
Brent
great,
Rooker's
but
been great
no.
this year.
Nobody expected
Right.
that out of Brent.
No.
But Austin Riley is
Yes.
he's a perennial
Right.
superstar.
He's an All-Star.
He's awesome.
Multiple-year All-Star at this point.
But Brent Rooker, second in DH voting
Yeah.
for the American League.
That's
He's
awesome.
going to an All-Star game. They released a video of him of them telling him in the dugout. It's awesome stuff.
Really, I need to go watch that. I
Really
haven't seen
cool
it.
stuff. Really cool. Anyway, sorry I interrupted.
No, you're good. But we had the portion of the All-Star voting last week where you could vote for starters.
Sure can.
And Shohei Ohtani was locked. You couldn't vote anybody else at that position. He was already voted in. You couldn't make a decision on if you want him or not.
It's because he was the top vote getter, though, so he's
right.
automatic.
It was him and I think Acuna.
And they're not going to have him at the All-Star game and not pitch and hit.
No, so
It's part of the showcase of the
part of the show.
sport.
Yeah.
But that's stupid. But it is what it is. I mean, look, 500-foot home run is awesome.
Sure
30
is.
home runs, 10 stolen bases, first player since Sammy Sosa in 1998 to do that. Awesome.
Awesome.
The guy's the best designated hitter in the American League. Maybe Aaron Judge, but maybe the best hitter, period, in the American League.
Could be.
I mean, you could take away position and say this guy is it. He's unbelievable at the dish.
Yes.
And he's got great swing and miss stuff on the mound,
Sure
too.
does.
But they're not winning games.
They're not.
He's not even winning games. He's giving up home runs.
He's giving up home runs left and right.
They're losing games. He's not winning games.
No.
They have the two quote-unquote best players in the sport. And it's not like the rest of their team is just a bunch of minor league bums.
No, I like their team, actually.
They've got a good team.
I like their team.
They've got this guy that was a locked starter in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
They should at least win 1 out of 5. And I guess they do win 1 out of 5. But they're not a good baseball team.
They're not.
Despite having the two
but
best players in the sport, right?
They're better this year. I mean, they're over 500, which they weren't over 500 at this point last year.
Only 1 game behind Houston. But we just went gaga over Seattle.
That's true.
And they're also in the same division as Oakland.
Yes.
And you play them a fourth of your season.
No, I mean it's I think it could be very easy. Second half of the season, Mariners get something going. They get hot at the plate. Angels kind of fall apart.
Let's see what their division record is. Does it have that?
Maybe.
No, it doesn't. But that's okay. Oh, well. All right, next note so we can get to betting here. I want to bet. The Guardians lineup can flat out hit. Did I already say that?
You did.
Oh,
They sure can.
Okay. Let me kind of the same thing we were talking about with the Mariners, though. What I found myself watching that Guardians-Cubs game is Trey Mancini is at the bottom of the Cubs lineup. They have good hitters. But top to bottom, I'm afraid every time – I bet on the Cubs one day.
I see.
And every time a Cleveland batter – this was Friday – got up to bat, I was like, that guy's going to get hit. He's a good hitter. I am terrified of that guy. He can hit.
Yeah.
And so the next 2 days, I've been on Cleveland both times because I noticed these guys can flat out hit
hit the
1 through 9. I can't remember who was it. Who's the first baseman? Naylor.
Yeah.
Naylor hit 8th. And I said, I like this team. I'm going to keep betting on this team.
Yeah.
Because
Smart move.
Naylor's a good hitter.
Sure is.
Had him in a DraftKings lineup the other week.
Did you?
So Cleveland, sneaky good baseball team. I'm telling you right now, second in that division. They're marching up to 1 game behind Minnesota. I like this Cleveland team. Maybe not as consistent pitching, but I like the Guardians.
Wow, we finally have both the Naylors in the lineup.
Maybe it wasn't Josh Naylor.
No, Josh Naylor was at first. Bo Naylor's behind the plate.
It was Josh that hit 8th, though, I think. We'll see what their lineup is today and maybe confirm or deny that. Braves, best team in baseball?
They gotta be.
They are.
They
Not a
gotta
doubt
be.
about it. And they also have the MVP in Ronald Acuna Jr.
Unbelievable.
They made Yuri look like a chump.
Unbelievable.
Made him look like a chump.
I
Yuri
was
Perez,
screaming.
that is, for the Miami Marlins.
Yep.
He has been dominant
Unbelievable.
every outing. He pitched all of June for sure.
Oh yeah.
He's 2 months. I mean, he's got a good 2 months in.
And I was reading in the Athletic, they have like a little baseball newsletter they sent out every morning, and somebody in that newsletter was like, there's been serious conversations behind the scenes that they need to like kind of let off of his workload a little bit, because so far this year he's pitched more innings this year than he's pitched in the last 2 seasons of minor league ball.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He's up to 47 1/3.
Yeah.
2.47 ERA. That's with this last game. He gave up 6 runs.
In the first inning.
In June, he had a .32 ERA. Teams hitting 170 against him and a .82 whip.
I had the.
So he's been unbelievable all year, and the Braves made him look like a chump. They scored 6 runs in the first inning, 7
first
hits.
pitch was a home run.
First pitch to Acuna was a home run. 2 home runs in that first inning. Who hit the other one?
Was it Ozzy?
Yes, next batter.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. It was
Back batter.
Ozzy Albies. That's exactly right. No, or was it Rosario?
Let's see.
It was Albies, I think.
I think it was Albies. Keep talking, I'll find it.
But yeah, so made him look like a chump, and Yuri's been unbelievable. The Braves are easily the best team in baseball. It was Albies. Best team in baseball. Beat him again yesterday. They were down 2-0, scored 4 runs in the 5th inning. Then they were up 4-3. That's because Arias scored.
Mm-hmm.
They went up 4-3, and then the Braves scored 2 more in the 9th, I think. So the Braves are dominated. They swept the Miami Marlins this weekend, and the Miami Marlins are playing real good baseball. That's a divisional game. The Braves are the best team in baseball. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I had the on Saturday when Yuri was on the mound, Charlie Morton on the mound for the Braves.
Yeah, under.
I had the under.
So did I.
Under 2.5 first through the first 3 innings.
The rare first 3.
Yes, and at like plus money.
I didn't know.
I was like, yikes! And I literally
when I sent that to somebody, they go, the Braves have scored more in the first inning than any other team in baseball.
What?
Okay, they ain't played against Yuri Perez every game though. The guy had a sub-1 ERA.
John, when he comes in about 20 minutes, he's gonna say the exact
The
same
guy
thing.
has a sub-1 ERA. You want me to bet that they score a run in the first inning? That would be insane.
Crazy. And so so the Cardinals were playing at the same time, no. Somebody was playing. It was the Cardinals. That game got suspended because of it was rain delay in the middle of the game. They were up 11-1 over the Yankees. So I flip it back to the Cardinals game during the break. So the Braves get up there, go 1-2-3. We've got middle of the inning break. I flip to the Cardinals game before I can even turn it back. It's already 1-0. It was crazy.
It happened in the blink of an eye, Brian.
Blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye. Hey,
Next thing you know, they have 6 runs.
If you blinked, you missed 2 runs.
And I go,
boom.
Eventually, I was watching the game with my mom, and it was like 3 or 4-0. And my mom's like, they got to get this kid out of there. This kid just doesn't have it today. And I go, Mom, they haven't even gotten an out yet. They can't take him out. Like, he's got to get an out at some point. And then they got an out, and they finally took him out.
Last note of the day, Jordan Montgomery, best pitcher on the Cardinals staff.
He looked good yesterday.
He's like, now it was a revenge game.
Sure was.
And so
That's
you got to
great
take
point.
that into account. I think he pitched
point.
great in a revenge game last year against them too.
Didn't think about that. It's a great point. Let's see what he did.
But he was dominant yesterday. And I think he might be good. He was
I
good.
think he is too.
Because
He was good last year.
He was good all month in June as well. So
Yes.
let's look at his June right now. Now, for full disclosure, he has a 6-7 record, and he's 3.28 ERA. Honestly, not a terrible ERA for a 6-7 record.
Yeah.
But his June, he had a 1.71 ERA. He only allowed 6 runs the whole month.
Wow.
And had a sub-1 whip. And yesterday against the Yankees, he continued that. 6 2/3 pitched, only allowed 2 hits, and that's it. And so he didn't allow a run. 6 strikeouts, 3 walks.
Last year against the Yankees, he also only gave up 2 hits.
So it could be a revenge game, but the
But
guy...
he only had 1 strikeout last year against the Yankees.
It could be a revenge game, but the guy, his last 6 outings has been unbelievable. Yeah. I think if you go back one more, no, I'm not even going to that tale. It's not even like May. But June and his last start, Jordan Montgomery has gone into a different stratosphere all new form. He's the best pitcher on the staff, I think. We can say that definitively. I think I would be confident enough. I bet on him yesterday, and I think I would be confident enough going into the next game. I'll ride with Jordan Montgomery. If it's a profitable experience, what his next start is, if it's a team that I like against the Cardinals, I'd be willing to bet on him to keep runs off the board.
I'm with you.
Confident he keeps runs off the board?
I like it.
That's all my notes. Did I miss any notes that you thought I was going to have?
No, I was waiting for the Yuri Perez note.
The Braves
that was rough.
That was
tough. Adam Wainwright looked rough over the weekend. That's about it. That's about it.
Well, let's take an early break.
Okay.
So we don't do a few games now and a few later. Let's do all our handicapping one segment. We're going to take an early break. When we come back, we're handicapping games for the day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Okay, it's July in Memphis, which means it's hot. Every day seems hotter than the one before, and even after the sun goes down, it's still hot. What to do? Make your way downtown to Bell Tavern. It's the perfect little oasis in the July heat. Not too bright, not too loud, and always nice and cool. This time of year, it's hard to beat an ice-cold beer, and Bell Tavern has those to spare. Add in the best bar food anywhere, the friendly staff, the great atmosphere, and for a minute in Bell Tavern, just for a minute, you might forget that eventually you're going to climb into a car that's hotter than an Easy-Bake Oven.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around, a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wolo said hello.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is.
All right, Bryant.
All right, Jim Morgan.
You ready to make some bets?
Let's do it.
I really don't know the best way to do this. I kind of thought, so I've already gone through and done some of this morning.
Oh, so you've already done your betting.
Well, I stopped at the Orioles-Yankees game. So I guess I should say, because I did Orioles-Yankees, I stopped at the Braves.
Okay. So you've done the first, 4 games?
Yeah, but I also have like little narrative. See, one thing I like to do, Brian, I told you got to do more of this too, because I'll like ask you questions. I'll be like, who do you like in this game? What do you like? You'll be like, oh, I like this one. I'm like, why? And you go, oh, I just feel like it. Like that doesn't convince anybody to do anything.
You asked me about a bet, and I was like, this pitcher's doing this, and this team is hitting this, and you're like, those are just facts.
That's right. That's
facts.
exactly right. No, it wasn't even that. It was some
pitcher I like.
Well, like, when you make bets, you have to like weave a tale. You know what I mean? You're like making a narrative. You're creating a story that you're selling to yourself, or if you're giving the bet to other people, to others.
Right.
You have to convince yourself because you really don't know as much as you think you do when you're making these bets. You're just trying to convince yourself based on what you're seeing. And what you were doing was just giving me like the facts, Jack. And I was like, if you don't know, Bryant Dacus has spent time as a beat writer. And he showed it in telling me what he wanted to bet. It was just the things that a beat writer would say.
That's right.
He didn't want to let his opinions or his own narrative get in the way of the information. And you did a hell of a job of it, I'll tell you.
That bet won. Let's just put that out.
What was it?
It was
no, I think I was on the same one as you.
No, because we didn't end up getting it in time as the Guardians, wasn't it? On Friday.
Oh, no. Oh, maybe so.
I think it was the Guardians on Friday.
Maybe so.
I don't remember.
Because it was live.
It was live.
That's right.
And
exactly.
then you found out you couldn't make live bets.
Well, I was also not at a robust sports book like the Caesars.
Oh, I see.
And Saturdays.
Yeah, that was the day before you found the Caesars. What's the one with all the whole wall of TV? Is that Caesars? That's the one that they do the VSIN. VSIN stuff at.
So that's obviously a Caesars sports book at Caesars.
Right.
The Bellagio has a BetMGM sports book, so I had to kind of go back and forth. But there's a walkway to both.
Oh,
so if I needed to cash a BetMGM ticket, I go to the Bellagio. Yeah. The thing about the Bellagio sports book is it's so old. How old is it? That's like a joke. Right. It's so old.
How old is it?
It's so old that their TVs are still 4x3.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So do you know what that means? That's standard definition.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have the wide screen, so it's 4x3. Whereas 16x9, I think, is what a high definition TV is. 4x3. So they scrunch all their screens, but they still had 16x9 frame. 4 smaller 16x9 frames fit in one 16x9 frame perfectly.
Yeah.
Like the math is perfect on that.
Sure.
Same thing with 4x3. 4 4x3 screens fit into one 4x3 screen. So at the Bellagio, all their screens are 4x3, and they scrunch all the pictures to fit 4x3. So then you have 4 scrunched screens back to back.
Need your glasses.
I didn't like the Bellagio.
Yeah.
I liked the Caesars much better. The Caesars just a wall.
Yeah.
It's just and so they fit 5 total 16x9 screens on this wall.
Yeah.
And then, like I just said, each of those can be broken up into 4 smaller ones. So it'll be like big screen, 4 smaller ones, big screen, 4 smaller ones, big screen. Really cool. Really cool. And maybe people know this. I'm new to the whole thing. And then also one thing I like, when you're going through your apps and you're trying to place a bet, you kind of have to scour for whatever you're looking for. Sure. It's not like you have like a bet sheet and you can see all of it live right now, all in front of you, everything I want.
Sure.
So they have a wall, obviously. It has odds for everything, and they're displaying everything. So the big sport on that day was baseball. So their biggest wall was just dedicated to baseball. And the screen has all the odds going. They have all the live odds going, and then you have all the first fives going right here.
Oh, wow.
So you have all of that information.
Everything you need.
I can look at the screen and stare at that where I'm not having to search through my book to find what I want. That was great.
Go through different tabs.
Now, the downside is you can't bet on as much with a person right there.
Sure.
It's not as quick interaction. There's less odds. There's not as many player props, for instance.
You can't go up and say, I want Ellie De La Cruz over 2.5 bags.
So there's some certain restrictions that you don't have on an app, but that aspect was awesome.
That is cool. That is really cool.
How did we get on this at all?
I don't know. We were just talking about Vegas, your betting stuff.
We're supposed to handicap games here. Let's just get into it
Sure
here.
are.
First game of the day here, Cubs-Brewers is the one I'm going to start with. I think Astros-Rangers technically starts first. But let's start with
whatever.
Cubs-Brewers is National League game. Starts at 1:10 today. I like the Brewers' first five. Julio Teheran is on them.
Good.
Except for his last start, and we're going to get into that here. So Julio Teheran is 2-3 this year. He has a 2.85 ERA. His last start, tough game for him, was on the road at the Mets. He gave up 7 runs in 5 2/3 innings. Terrible outing. Only bad outing all month. Outing before that, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs. Before that, 6 innings, 1 hit, 2 runs. Before that, 7 innings, 1 run. The one before that, 6 1/3, 2 runs. So really consistent, really low run numbers on the boards. Team were hitting 190 or worse against him in June until that last start. The difference in that last start, Bryant, you know what the difference in that last start is?
He was on the road.
It was on the road. His home road splits, he's 1.57 ERA at home. Teams hitting 170 against him at home. I've liked what I've seen from Julio Teheran, not just looking at statistics. I really have. He was if you're a Braves fan, you know the name Julio Teheran from back in the day.
Yep.
I trust him today. I think I'm going to take them first 5.
I like that. The Cubs have also struggled the past week
They
or
got
so.
dominated by the Guardians. I'm taking the Brewers today. The Brewers just look great against the Pirates. Christian Yelich is playing the best baseball he's played in a long time. I'm taking them first 5. I'm putting 1 unit on that. All of this is to win a unit. So if it's minus 110, we're playing to win a unit. All of these units are to win. We're doing double Nerfies and Yerfies today. We're going 2 units on the Nerfie in that game too.
Wow.
Even though Milwaukee looked good scoring runs over the weekend, I just got a feeling in this one. I trust Teheran. We've already been over that.
I trust Drew Smiley.
I'm just trusting Drew Smiley here for 1 inning. Just give me a shot here. 2 units. We're going to try and start the day off right.
I like it.
Astros, you got anything for that? You got anything else in additional?
I'm with you on that one.
Astros, Rangers. Wow. You look at this game initially, Bryant, and these 2 pitchers are dominant. I see Christian Javier. I see Martin Perez. But I take a little closer look at Christian Javier. Yeah, he's got a 7-1 record, but a 3.72 ERA? Seems a little high for a 7-1 record, doesn't it, Bryant?
Sure does.
At least to me, I might not be. I'm gonna have a layperson. Then I take a little even closer look, and I look at what Christian Javier did in June, and he has a 5.79 ERA in June. Teams are hitting 320 against him.
You're kidding.
Is that a 7-1 record? Does that sound like a 7-1 record to you, Bryant?
It does not.
It does not. Not even a little bit. Whereas Martin Perez, he's as good as advertised. Now, he has a 4.28 ERA, not the best in the world, but the Rangers were hot this week. And I'll tell you, they were playing some good baseball. And Christian Javier actually has a lower – I'm sorry, not Christian Javier. Martin Perez actually has a lower ERA in June than he does on this season. Granted, still 3.99, but he has been very consistent, only giving up like 2 runs max every start. Christian Javier's given up 5 or more every start. I'm just going to play the numbers on this one, and I'm thinking Rangers first 5. Let's take it -0.5. We're getting it plus 105 at Caesars. 1 unit. What do you think about that one?
I can get down with that one. What about like an over? You think maybe over might be a play here?
I think the over was a scary number. Give me 1 second here. I have it because I did look at that. I like where your head's at here. This is us talking on our bets here.
Right.
First 5, we have over 9 for the game. Ooh, that's right. It was over 5.
And for first 5?
And it's -120. Whereas the best odds you can get is at Barstool. Over 5.5 is plus money.
Yeah.
I mean, Javier's been giving up 5 by himself. I
true.
could get down with that. You want to get down with that? Do you want to do the 5 and play the 120, or do you want to go on Barstool and get plus money? It's plus 112 on Barstool over 5.5.
Plus 112? I'll take the 5.5. Why not?
Seriously.
Why not?
But because this is money we're putting down, and we have a chance to lose it, is why not?
Sure, why not?
Again, it's the same thing you just said. I want you, Bryant. Are you going to go put money on this when you leave here? Yeah, that's your gauge. Is you're going to put money on this or not? You have to be honest with the audience here. Are you putting money on it?
No, probably not.
Are you not?
No, I will. You know what? I'm all in.
The 5.5 or the 5?
5. Let's go 5.
I think 5 too. I'm with you.
Get a push
See,
there.
that's what I will. You were like, oh, push money. Yeah. I was like, think realistically for a second. It's a lot of runs. I'm with you. Let's go 5. 1 unit.
Try to get a push there.
Well, I agree. 1 unit. Let's go over 5. First 5. We're adding that to the list here. At minus 120. That's the best odds we can get. Ooh, nope. 115 at Caesars. We're taking 115. Let's go to Caesar. Now, does Caesar actually live here? That's from The Hangover. Do we have time for 2 more? Why not? Dave always goes over. Let's go over. The next game here is I don't have the clout, but nonetheless. Next one is Cardinals-Marlins here. Marlins just got through a tough one over the weekend, getting swept by the Braves. But guess what, Bryant? The Cardinals aren't as good as the Braves. Braxton Garrett has been unbelievable for the Miami Marlins. He has been unreal. He's been their second-best pitcher, in fact, over the last 2 months, right behind Yuri Perez, and they've essentially been identical. If you look at their numbers over the last 2 months, they've been essentially identical in super low runs. You know who hasn't had a good month, Bryant?
Miles Michaelis.
Miles Michaelis, 6.07 ERA. He gave up 20 runs in June. Gave up 5 his last outing, 2 before that, 6 before that, 5 before that. He has given up runs in bunches, and for that reason, we're doing a Yurfie. We're going, and remember, we're doing 2-unit Yurfies and Nerfies today. We're going 2 units Yurfie, minus 105. I like Braxton Garrett. The Marlins coming off being swept. The Cardinals stink. I want to put a unit on the Marlins first 5, minus a half, so we're giving up the tie, plus money, and we're also going over 4.5 runs. I think the Marlins get there by themselves against the Cardinals today, first 5, over 4.5. Minus 105. Your thoughts on those 3?
I'm still stuck on your Yurfie in this game.
Yeah, I'm betting on basically one team to score a run.
Oh no,
which I could do
What
that.
you're doing.
But I could do that. I could just bet on the Marlins to score a run in the first inning, and those odds would be a lot better. But I'll take if I'm doing 2 units on a Yurfie, I'm going to get both teams involved there.
But Miami, I mean, you watch a lot more Miami than I do, but they kind of haven't gotten a lot of runs in the first innings of games.
They have not. But they haven't played against Miles Michaelis quite a bit either. I mean, that's kind of the way I'm doing it here. And I don't think the Marlins score a considerable amount of runs, period.
Sure. And the Cardinals the bats have been working now.
So that's why we're going both ways there.
I kind of like that.
We're going Yurfie. And then I'm trusting the Marlins to get some runs there and win that. Last but not least, I don't have time to break it down. I like the Orioles-Yankees today. Do you have who's pitching in that one real quick?
Herman for the Yankees, that's right, Wells for Baltimore.
Herman stunk until he threw a perfect game.
So everyone's going to be on the Yankees tonight.
Everyone's going to be on the Yankees today. I'm taking over 4.5 runs in the first 5 because Javier, before the perfect game, 5, 6, 5, 4. Tons of runs. We're taking over 4.5 first 5, minus 115. And on DraftKings, Orioles first 5 is even money, plus 100, just to take them on the money line so you get a tie too. That's what we're betting with today. I haven't done the night games yet. We'll do those later. Listen to Bryant at 3 o'clock today with Brett on Sports Time. Johnny Radio next.
I have so many people tell me they hear